Hello there. Welcome. So, out of the blue, the F1 Manager team has given us a update here. We're going to get 1.9 on Monday, and it's going to come with things like pit lane stars as well as other interesting features. And they're giving us a preemptive patch notes. So basically, we can take a look at what we are expected to get, and that is what we're going to do in this video. I'm probably going to be testing it out on Monday somehow. Don't know if we'll stream or video, we'll see. But basically, 1.9 is coming on Monday. And we had no clue until basically yesterday. So let's go over what we can expect. So pit lane starts are now getting implemented. Pit lane starts are now fully supported in F1 Manager 24 using the real world regulation as a base. These bring an additional level of authenticity to the game. Park firm rules take effect from whenever your car first goes on track during quali, either sprint quali or regular quali, and a strict list of rules is then applied. Front wing angle can be changed. This is basically how things have been working so far. Like for like parts can be swapped for basically any of your base components in your car. You can swap it to a similar one without any problems. Component changes will result in a pit lane start. Engines, gearbox, ERS. If you switch any of these to a different one after quali has finished, the first quali session, then you will be starting in the pit lane. All other setup changes will incur pit lane start, which kind of is good. It means that if you do mess up the setup terribly, you can trade a better setup, which means better confidence, for a pit lane start, which could be a bit of an interesting dilemma to have at times. So I'm looking forward to that. Cars starting from the pit lane may not exit the pit lane until they receive the green light, which is only given when the starting grid has fully passed the exit of the pit lane. So basically, works exactly like real life pit lane starts to a degree, and I do love this. It's one of those things that is very, very good when the F1 Manager team actually adds real-life elements. We're excited to see how you navigate these new limitations, but don't worry about keeping your F1 rulebook to hand. You'll be fully prompted before making a change, which will incur a penalty. Can you turn a bad qualifying or mechanical fault into a tactical advantage later in the season? We'll also come back over the starting grid scenarios from this season and ensure that any cars which started from the pit lane in the real races now also start from the pit lane in the game, to ensure you're able to challenge yourself as you seek to replay the races from the official 2024 season so far. Can you make some points from the pit lane? Which honestly would be interesting to try, so we might play some scenarios going into the future. But yeah, basically, park firm once a car goes out on track during Q1, a car park can only be replaced by the same design. So it seems like there are warnings to this so that you don't put yourself in a tough position. But I'm really looking forward to experimenting with this. Seems like it can be a bit of a fun addition. Driver development focuses. You can now focus drivers into distinct areas of development in order to use their skills to benefit your team. This includes your affiliates, giving you an extra reason to seek out the right people to fill your affiliate slots, with the skills to enhance your team how you see fit. There are 3 ways to choose to deploy drivers in your stable. This is kind of interesting because this actually gives your affiliates a purpose other than being reserved drivers and talents that potentially don't have F2, F3 seats. So I kind of find this a very interesting thing that I definitely want to mess around with. So basically, your drivers now, your affiliates, now have more than just one purpose, which is great. But yeah, let's go with what those purposes are before I start delving deeper into my ideas and thoughts. So driver development. Drivers continue to focus on themselves and increasing their own abilities. So basically, how kind of drivers work right now. It says it's going to improve their training rate. You see the training here with 2 hours up. But basically, I would assume this is going to work very similarly to how driver development works now. Maybe slow down, loss of points from aging, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. Car development. Drivers use their skills to boost the research and design of car parts, reducing the time it takes to complete the research. If reducing the time is all it does, we'll have to test this. But basically, if this part here, reducing the time it takes to complete that research, we'll have to see if this actually turns out to be something you generally wouldn't use much. Because, as you know, expertise is the most important part of design, really. Unless you need a part really, really quickly, which this would be a godsend. But we'll have to do some testing here to see exactly how things work out. They also contribute to increasing preparedness heading into races, giving a setup boost. Okay, that's huge. As you'd expect, the amount your driver can assist is based on their expertise. More experienced drivers will have a larger effect than drivers new to the series. The effects of this focus stack, meaning you can deploy up to 3 drivers to give your drivers a bigger boost. However, bear in mind that drivers focusing on car development will temporarily sacrifice their development rates to do so. What do you mean temporarily? We are going to get 3 sacrificial sheep here, basically, for my series then, I guess. But basically what it tells us is that car part development speed goes up, driver preparation goes up, and the effect intensity will increase over time. So there's a lot of things that needs to be tested. But again, this is a new kind of feature that would be interesting to have a look at. And it kind of does simulate the real world situation with having drivers that basically, reserve drivers that basically put in a lot of work at the sim to help develop the car, setups, things like that. So this is also a really, really nice feature to be added. And honestly, I do like what I'm seeing so far. But yeah, I'm looking forward to testing this out for sure. I guess next week is going to be busier than this week, so we'll see exactly how long it takes to get that tested. But yeah, the driver development focus is here. I'd say that's a good addition here, because you can kind of choose what you want your driver to focus on. You're now going to have to make choices in terms of, do I want a driver to just develop? Is car development going to be good enough to be an option? But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Marketability. Use your driver's marketability to help you meet sponsorship goals more easily. Do you choose to send your young hotshots out, or use more seasoned drivers to make a bigger impact? Meeting your sponsorship goals more easily means less distraction to the wider team at the cost of reducing that driver's focus. Drivers focusing on marketability can increase in their own marketability temporarily while focusing on this area, while dropping the development rate. So training, we'll lose some training, sponsored plan engagement bonus, marketability boost, and again, the effect will increase over time. Just the marketability though, that's kind of what the clock signifies. I could see this being potentially good, because now that affiliates kind of serve a purpose, because honestly, let's face it, affiliates, unless you are trying to race specific drivers in specific stats, and your facilities are built up, in general, there's no real point to maximizing your affiliates, I feel. So this is great, honestly. You have a reason for affiliates. They have different boosts, and because you're going to have more affiliates, you're going to be spending more money on them. So having some that just boost your marketability to hopefully get better sponsorships is not a bad idea. The intensity of a driver's contribution to these areas increase over time. You'll need to keep drivers focused at least a month to see the full effect. Moving a driver to a new focus will reset the intensity of their contribution, so choose when to deploy certain drivers carefully to maximize the impact and minimize disruption. So basically what I would say here is, during the off-season, basically probably November, it takes about a month to reach the full effect. I could see it being hugely impactful potentially to put all your drivers on marketability, because you get your big sponsorship deal in January. If it takes about a month to reach full effect, let's say that we take mid-November to be on the safe side, we switch everyone over from driver development to marketability to hopefully boost our marketability temporarily to get a better sponsorship deal. That could be also very interesting, because that could put you in a financial better position. You're sacrificing some, development, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. We'll have to see. And definitely at the start of the season, putting your 3 best drivers in car development can definitely pay off, because they don't develop much until the first race anyways. So yeah, basically a lot more strategy on how you utilize drivers and affiliates. And I love that. Team suitability. We know the task of recruiting the right people for your team can be tricky. This is where the brand new team suitability rating comes in to help. This suitability rating is covered as part of the process when scouting potential staff members, and gives you a broad view of if this person is right for your team, whilst listing out the reason. A variety of factors, including rating versus current staff members, salary, buyout, championship standing, and more, are taken into consideration to help give you an initial indication of how well this person could fare within your team. The results are dynamic, and things like your own team's bank balance, championship standing will affect the rating. As always, it's your team principal who makes the final decision. This new feature will give you a basic underlying idea of your compatibility. So they've used Albon here as an example, and basically now we have a list that tells us, what we can expect if we were to say sign him. So the current performance is great, salary is higher than our current rate. This isn't the best screenshot, I'll have to say. This position on the team will soon become vacant, Signing this person suits their current budget. So the salary is too high, but he's basically free to hire, so they cancel each other out. Basically, a list of pros and cons to make your decision a little bit easier on if you should sign drivers and staff. And honestly, I'm also looking forward to having a look at this feature because, as you can imagine, this can be huge for new players. They get a little bit of a helping hand in figuring out should they sign someone, why should they, why shouldn't they. So if this feature is done well, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, that could be huge. In addition to informing you how potential staff might fit into a team, all staff members in the game now has an opinion on your team. This means you will find now staff members in other teams might not be interested in hearing a contract proposal from you. If you are a back market team, don't expect staff in a championship winning team to be willing to take a risk on joining you, even if your bank balance is flush. Every staff member's opinion is unique to them, so you may find soon to be added contract staff are more open to joining teams outside their comfort zone. Just like team suitability, their views of you change dynamically, so make sure you're best placed to pick up key staff through the year as opinions change. So basically now we're finally getting a similar feature to what we had in 22 and 23, where staff, and I would assume drivers, as they've used Max and Stafford as a example here, now will judge your team and decide if your team is worth joining. And honestly, that's what I like to see. Because right now, it's very, very easy to just sign any team member, and that makes a lot of it just takes away a lot of the challenge, because the mentality boost is huge. Signing 390 rated staff for basically free going into the second year was something you were able to do with every single save, and it was just the best option out there. There was no other need to do anything different. Like, you could do it to challenge yourself, but at the same time, mentality boost is huge. Staff is, free to get basically. It was a no-brainer. But now you're going to be challenged because you need to have a reputation to get these best members, is the way that I read this. So I'm looking forward to testing this out. So far, this update seems to be amazing, honestly. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how this is going to actually play out, because this is one of my most recent complaints too. But we'll have to see. We might need to push for actually having breakout clauses in AI contracts, because they seem to not like that right now. But again, the team suitability, I like that. The fact that we now have contracts as part of that too, or rather the joining part of that, is amazing. I love the drive to one focus. It's added a layer of strategy. We'll have to see how well that translates to the game though. And again, pet lane stars, just nice to have that for authenticity as part of the game. But we're not actually done there. Feedback on contracts in the game. Silly season comes to F1 Manager. We've added some additional content to emulate what goes on in the world of F1 within F1 Manager. Your scouting team and the F1 journalists have been busy, and will send you some new high-value information to help you navigate the world of signings and contracts that was previously behind closed doors. So basically, contract rumors. You'll now receive a condensed report from your scouting team about high-value targets that are currently in negotiation with other teams. This is your chance to act quickly and convince someone you might have an eye on before they sign for a rival. Your team even have scouting reports ready for you to jump in and start negotiations if you see fit. So basically, we are getting contract rumors, and you could potentially interrupt deals that the AI are making if you want to try and snatch up staff members, which honestly, kind of huge. It's going to build more on the contract scene, which I'd like to see. That would be, this might be actually really, really amazing. Summer signings. When other teams make key signings, you'll now find out about it when it happens and be able to plan accordingly. Find out about those big name signings in the news, just as you'd expect in real life, and immerse yourself in all the off-track action. Again, basically, the contracts rumor system, you get news of what the other teams have done, and honestly, I like to see that, but we'll have to see if we get some interesting news too, like signing of lower rated staff and drivers. But so far, everything in this looks amazing. I can kind of see this maybe being the last update for 24 with just how much they've added to it, but amazing so far. We also have one last thing here. Engine payments. We've been listening to your feedback, and we're making a slight change to how you pay for your engines. Instead of a lump sum payable at the start of the season, we're now making this installment based on to spread the cost over a year, payable on the first of each month. This should help budgeting for your team and ensure you don't have a difficult start to next year, especially in Season 2 when your engine payment is first due. This will take effect from the next new season you experience in the game. This is actually kind of huge because usually now, as they say, you've been paying the entire cost for your engine in January, but now it's split over 12 months in the same manner that the payout from, the winnings from your the season payout, the prize pool, so to speak, is being paid out. So it's going to probably help the finance a lot more. You basically no longer have to save up 20 million at the end of the season. Probably good to do that though, just to have a little bit of a piggy bank. But this is actually a really, really nice change. And I kind of like everything that I've read so far here. I love it. And I hope it works brilliantly. I'm really, really looking forward to Monday. We're going to be testing this out for sure. But yeah, engine payments, contract feedback, or rather contract rumors is huge. I do like the fact that staff and drivers now will kind of judge your team before they sign. You can't sign anyone. The fact that we have a little bit of a guided team suitability. Love that. And again, the driver focus is here. I'm really looking forward to testing them. It could be amazing. Pit lane starts, again, it's one of those nice little things that you don't really think about, but it's very, very nice to have in the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this is going to change things up, so to speak. But yeah, that was it. We're actually getting a pretty big patch here. Let me know what you think. I think it looks amazing, and I'm really looking forward to having a look at it on Monday. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.